Good morning. This is Jeremy Holmes, the Director of Ride Solutions, and I'm here at the West End Center to have a special presentation from our Art by Bus program. And I'm here this morning with Joy Parrish, Executive Director of the West End Center, and David Ramey Jr., who's the son of David Ramey Sr., one of the featured artists from our Art by Bus program. As a little bit of background, the reason we're here today, you might be familiar that Art by Bus is our effort to highlight the role of public transportation in connecting our neighborhoods, supporting our community by putting art directly on the buses. And one of the elements of that program is we reproduce a piece of art from the city's internal collection, and we blow that up and put it on the outside of the bus. And one of the featured works was by David Ramey Sr., who is a very well-known local artist who is particularly known for his works representing the Henry Street area where he grew up, in a neighborhood that really no longer exists because of Roanoke's history of urban renewal. And so this work is a really important way to remember that neighborhood. And we were lucky enough to be able to reproduce the art on the bus and then also on the chapbooks that we produced from our writer. And what we worked on last year was with David, Mr. Ramey here, we decided that we would take the proceeds from the sale of those chapbooks and donate them to some of the organizations that Mr. Ramey Sr. really cared about and things that help our neighborhood. So before I do that presentation, what I actually like to start with is to talk to you a little bit about your dad. He unfortunately he passed away in the midst of the Art by Bus program, and so it's really meaningful that we get to do something like this to memorialize him. But if you just want to say something about his work and his art and his time in Henry Street, and maybe what that meant for his creative efforts.
Yes, my dad moved to Roanoke in 1949, mm-hmm. and he lived very close to Henry Street. Mm-hmm. So he would go up there on a daily basis, and it was just the love of his life, mm-hmm. because you can imagine a child coming from a very rural area, right, and moving to somewhere where like Henry Street was like someone moving from Roanoke to New York City, Times Square. Right. So he just loved Henry Street, everything that went on there, the colorful days and the busy evenings and things. And so years later, once every renewal came through, he sit down and realized that he had a short period of time to put his images on paper, mm-hmm. and stories and books. And that's what he started to do from late 99 and early 2000s. And he just drew a very large and beautiful collection of, mm-hmm. Henry Street, Northeast, and other black areas during that time that no longer exist. Mm-hmm. And my main objective is just to continue his legacy and let the younger generations and youth know what once was. Right.
And if I recall correctly, all this body of work he created is all from memory. So this is just his memories of Henry Street, and the buildings and the street life and all that is just from what he recalled, right?
I think that's what made him a very extraordinary artist, mm-hmm. and storyteller, is that all of the stories and drawings came from his memory of, mm-hmm. 40 to 50 years prior. Mm-hmm. And I thought that's what makes him very unique. Right.
I think it's interesting that some of those images are the only images we have of what life was like on Henry Street. We don't really have a lot of photographs or anything, so Mr. Ramey really captured that part of Roanoke's history that's gone.
Yes, he did.
We're really excited to be able to work with his art and present both on the bus and in our chapbook, and we appreciate you working with us to make this part of the program happen.
It's been my pleasure, and it's also given me the opportunity for his legacy to continue on.
Well, Joy, so one of the organizations that Mr. Ramey wanted to support was the West End Center. So if you could just tell us, like, for folks who don't know what the West End Center is, where we are and what you do, if you could kind of tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. First, we're really grateful. Sounds like a great project, and we're very honored to be recognized. Well, here we are on Patterson Avenue, right at the corner of 13th Street and Patterson. And West End Center will be enjoying a 40th anniversary next year. So
wow.
We've been part of this neighborhood going way back. And what we do is that we try to help disadvantaged children have the kinds of experiences that will help them become successful adults who can contribute to the community. So we do that through our after-school and all-day summer programs, and we focus on academic education, social skills development, and overall wellness.
So as we were walking here, you were telling me about something really interesting that's happening right now.
Yeah,
So what's going on right now?
Right now, starting at 9:30, the children began to walk to the Grandin Theater, where all 100 of them, where they'll see a movie and then they'll walk back. So it's a great experience for them in terms of they're able to enjoy one of our important organizations with the Grandin and have that cultural experience. And they're also, that's part of our wellness program too, that we're emphasizing the importance of walking where you need to go.
Well, excellent. I think that's great, because one of the things that we try to talk about in this Art by Bus program is connectivity amongst our neighborhoods.
And this is a great example.
Right. Well, that's great. We're really excited to get to do this. So what we're going to do now is we have the usual giant check.
Yay.
So if we can get off camera here and get this. Again, this is from the first round of sales proceeds from the 30-Minute Neighborhood, which is the chapbook that came from the work from our last year's Art by Bus program. There's still, we're still selling these chapbooks, and we'll continue to donate the proceeds to West End Center and other organizations and David Ramey Sr.'s estate to help support the kinds of programs that he wanted to see vital in the Roanoke Valley. So you can visit ridesolutions.org/artbybus to purchase the chapbook online, or visit the Rider by Bus Facebook page to learn more about that program. And thank you guys very much for coming out this morning, and we're happy to be able to help. And thank you for working with us and helping us help your father's legacy. We really appreciate it. So that's it. Thank you very much for joining us this morning.